Hey everybody, welcome into the studio. This is the Maker Beehive. I'm Jennifer Chamberlain. Alrighty dighty, on to gel plate printing. Why do we gel plate print? What is the gel plate? What is this all about? Can I just use a piece of plastic? Can I just smush paint with a paintbrush? Totally can do that. You don't have to have a gel plate to have really fun collage papers. The gel plate is a gel material. I'm going to use my little one as an example. It looks like this, very, 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 very durable. It has this surface so that paint sticks to it when you apply it. And then when you put your paper on it to pull a print away, it just pulls away in this beautiful mosh of printed color and pattern that you could hardly predict. So why not just a piece of plastic? Why can't I just smush paint upside down and pull it back up? It's just not the same. And until you try it, you don't get it. This is what happens when you don't clean your gel plate on a regular basis. Little pieces of dried paint stay behind. And there are some of us who love the crusty bits. I love the crusty bits. So let's talk about the clamshell. This is what it comes in, okay? And people ask me all the time, how do you store your gel plate? Well, it's simple. If you get the one that comes in the clamshell, it just sits right down in there. Boom-bitty boom boom. I just stick it on a shelf just like that. I don't even attach it most of the time. It's just inside of here. And if I happen to sit something on top of it accidentally, it's okay. And so that's how I store it. I typically do not clean my gel plate. And I believe there are a lot of gel plate users who don't clean it because we actually love the crusty bits. So if you are going to clean it though, not even taking a washcloth with some warm soapy water didn't do a thing. But you know what did? Baby oil. So I just took a little squirt like that. Take my little cloth and just rubbing that baby oil on the crusty bits just softens them up a little bit. And you can see how it's just cleaning up there in the middle. And look at this, I'm getting a lot of green. The baby oil serves two purposes. It'll clean it, and then it will also kind of recondition it. This is your brayer. This is a Speedball rubber brayer, B-R-A-Y-E-R. This is 4 inches. I also have the 2-inch. Next thing you're going to say is, how do you clean your brayer? I'm going to say, I don't clean my brayer. When I am doing my gel plate printing, I just roll off my paint. So, I mean, I have a pretty smooth surface here. If for some reason it started to get a little bit crusty, so earlier I did have to go like, oh, because you'll get a mark. You'll get a mark. If you have one little crusty piece, that little crusty piece is going to leave a line, which I don't care. Give me the line. I love the unexpected. That's fine. But if you're worried about the crusty piece and a little bit of line, you just scrape that off. Just scrape it off. And then if that bothers you, if you still didn't get it, sand it. Just do a little sanding block if you want to. But for the most part, I just roll off the extra paint when I'm all done. That's it. And this is I think it's 2 inches. Yeah, it's probably 2 inches. And this is the one that I would use if I was using a smaller little gel plate. Two things I do. I will either directly go onto my gel plate with a couple squirts, a couple little dots, less is more, and then spread that out as such. Oh, that's going to pull up my crusty bits, I can tell. Or you can go to your palette and say, hey, I want a little bit of this green mist. Love me some green mist. And then maybe I want a little bit of saffron yellow. Oh, yeah. So why would you do your paint on a palette versus putting it directly on your gel plate? Well, if you put it directly in your gel plate and you're fairly new at gel plate printing, there's probably a risk that you put too much paint, and too much paint results in not the best prints. It just kind of results in smushed paint, which we love smushed paint, but then you might as well not be using the gel plate. The gel plate provides the best prints when you can go in thin with your layers. I tend to use the rule that I want to be able to see through a layer. I want to be able to see through to the next thing that's underneath. So here I can see through to my newsprint paper that's underneath. So I've got these two colors here, and I'm going to be able to control the amount on my brayer by kind of rolling it over here. Now I just have this little thin amount, and I'm just going to roll it like that. You can barely see that there's even any paint there. And I'm just going to keep going over the edges. Don't neglect the edges of your gel plate. That's where crusty stuff tends to live. And we're going to pull this up and see if I can clean it. This is the best way to clean it too, because usually those crusty pieces will come up. There we go. So at this point, pressure is really important to pulling a really good print. You can use your hands, you can use your brayer and push, or you could use your Baron. And I'm going to go right around the edge, roll and get those crusty bits off the edge. I'm going to make sure I got everything here. And what you can do before you pull it, you can kind of peek and see, am I getting enough? That's fine because there's really not that much paint on there. But you can see what I printed. There just wasn't a ton of paint, but I can go back and do more. I'm going to do blue mist again, and we're going to try to get some more of these crusty bits off of here. I got some really tiny in there, really tiny little bits here and there. But this alone makes a good little piece of collage paper. There's just a lot of white. And what if we try this time metallic? Let's do a little metallic paint. And this time, what about, okay, we'll put our paint on first, just like I did before. We'll go a little thicker this time. Ooh, these colors are pretty. It's a great exercise in testing colors together, how they work together. So I've got quite a bit more paint this time. Look at my paper over here, how pretty it is too. That also will make great collage material. So a little bit more paint. And now I'm going to grab a stencil. And I'm not going to do anything else except put this down, let it stick to my paint. Once I get it stuck, it's not going to move so much, okay? Now, I'm going to feel where my stencil is, and I'm going to press this paper as much as I can down in between that stencil. And one thing to keep in mind, we're not trying to create a finished work of art here. We're trying to create papers that eventually are going to be torn and made into something else. So maybe this is going to be grass someday. Maybe it's going to be a little hat. That's the fun of it, is just creating the collection, the stash for you to choose from. And I really like the way the stencil turned out. Isn't that great? Fabulous. I can now pick this up. This is like this. I can now put this on here, and this is what's called a ghost print. So I haven't added any more paint. It's the ghost that's left behind after the first pull. So if you've ever heard the term ghost print and didn't understand what it meant, it's basically like when this goes away, oh, the ghost is left behind. So now I have another cool print. I actually like this one better because it was already on that patterned paper. So I have the pattern in between the little pieces. And just look how cool that is. And the colors, the metallic. Oh, fabulous. That is gel plate printing in a nutshell. We could keep layering. And one tip you might find handy when you get started is as you roll it on, that's great. But as you continue rolling, when you don't really need to, you start picking up paint. So if you find that you've gotten too much paint, you can clean off your brayer, come back, roll it, and you're going to get more paint off. I can just pull paint away. And instead of now putting my paper down, I'm actually going to grab a paper towel and I'm going to remove the paint in my stencil. And can you just imagine, just kind of got your gel plate, got a good movie on, maybe your guilty pleasure reality TV show, I don't know, nice beverage, maybe some good music, and you don't have to be thinking about like, how's this going to turn out? Is this going to be good or not? Doesn't matter. I mean, that is the best, right? I'm going to let this dry a minute. So if you're doing multiple layers and you want them to kind of see through each other, see how I see, you can see through this. Hello, hello. Do you see me? Hello. So seeing through that is key. And I'm going to let it dry a minute. And then I'm going to put another layer of paint, thin layer of paint on there. And I'll be able to pull it at that point because that next layer, when it's wet, is going to pull this first layer away. And the first layer is going to be what we see on the top of our print. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And when we make art with it, that makes each of our works of art unique. We are creating our own collage material. What color do we think would be cool behind here? So when we pull this, what we have here is going to be in the front, and then we're going to have something behind it. What would be good? So let's just do a scotch of brown, and maybe this, what is this? Thicket. Thicket. This is Deco Art Thicket, another one of my favorites. It's this grayish blue. It's very similar to Green Mist, but it has just a little bit more green in it. So we've got this brown color and then this pretty thicket color. Why? Because it's a nice contrast to what I've got going here. And when I put on a nice thin layer, it's going to show behind that. Okay, and we'll see how this goes because we may end up doing another layer even behind this. So gentle, gentle, gentle. You do it too hard and you're going to pull up that first pattern. Gentle, nice. I love these colors together, this brown and thicket. Isn't that pretty? Gentle and don't overwork it. I'll start pulling it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to pull that because that's going to be pretty. I can still do more, but I just want to pull this up just to keep it simple. And I give it a little lift just to see. Not bad. This is a good pull. This is a good print. But you got to see it up close. Do you see the pattern in the front from the stencil? Oh, yeah. I could have gone just slightly thicker on my paint coat because I do have a lot of white, but that's okay. But I'll tell you what my solution is when I have a lot of white like that. I will take my ink. This is my walnut stain distress ink, or any ink, really. And I'm just going to gently roll that. I want more, but my pad is kind of drying out. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Got rid of some of my white, but not all of it. But you can see a lot of that white is gone. Much better. Ooh, nice. Nice. And it's actually mixing with the ink that was still on here, and I'm getting this nice creamy color. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to make it a little more interesting. And you don't have to use stencils. You could gently draw in it with a Q-tip. Pick this up. You can draw gently in your paint. You can stamp it. You can stamp onto. You can stamp the paint and pull paint away. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Fabulous. Fabulous. Oh my gosh. You can see clear through to the very bottom layers. And here's some crusty bits I picked up. Love those crusty bits. If you want to hang out with me more, if you want to do more fun stuff, I would love to be your creative buddy. Come join us. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're inspired.